media because I realized that I found someone, one of our students, he used one funny name, and I was like, wow, director has been talking on this thing, and this person followed me. I don't want to actually go to that person's DM and actually tell him what to do. I want to come here to talk to the person myself. Now, you can't expect, I know majority of us have actually done another naming. Normally, your parents did their own naming for you, and you actually created your own naming. I don't know, maybe you actually invited people to it, but you not invite me. Please, I won't actually like us to be using some names that are not actually good for our social media. I realize that some people can use, please, can you give me names? Eh? Pablo, Pablo Alakori, and some, and some funny, sir? Slake. There she, yeah, conk. So, like, as much as possible, please let us try and adjust in our name usage. Just use your name. Do you understand? Just use your name. Just use your name. Now, I'll be moving to the next one, which is our what? Our what? Our picture. I've actually talked. Okay, let me just repeat myself on that. Our profile picture should not be the picture that. Don't use your celebrity picture. Actually, I'm a celebrity fan. I'm a political fan, and everything. I follow every trend, but I dare not use any of my favorite artists to do my profile picture. Please try as much as possible to use your picture as profile picture, and let it be sensible and reasonable. Are you with me? Now the next one is immediately you step your feet to SQIs, just believe that you are not anyhow person again. You are not anyhow person again. You can't afford to just comment on a post anyhow, like going to someone's post and write and actually abuse the person. You can't afford to go to somebody's post and abuse the person. Please, whenever you want to comment, just comment reasonably. If you know you don't have anything to say, please just swipe up. Recruiters are everywhere. Do you understand me? They are everywhere. So now, they will actually go to your profile and check all your activities, how you have actually abused people. Do you understand me now? Do you understand me? Now, about our LinkedIn. Actually, I will still be coming to our classes to do justice to that. Please, I want us to be active on our LinkedIn. Are you with? How many of us are having LinkedIn accounts here? Is it everybody? No. When last have you posted on your LinkedIn account? Last week. Wow, that's nice. Wow, thank you. So just make sure you are active. Your social media presence is very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. So, without wasting time, let me push it open. Did Ayodeji kill it based on the he didn't. Come. We are learning together so that he will realize himself too. Come now, yeah, come quickly. Oh, what it now? Erutiba. Ayo, you were dancing. You were dancing, and your body language was monotonous. Abi, what can I say? Hallelujah. So, there is a camera before you. You should be mindful of your environment. So you back your audience. You did not carry everybody along. Do you get that? Your content, I would have even given 38% out of 40 that your content can take. Your content is on point, but the rest, so work about that. Let me see that confidence in your face when you speak. Look at the camera. You get. Just like the way you see people shake themselves. Family. Good afternoon, doctor. Good afternoon, prof. All right. The last person I will permit here, Mr. Sheyode Kumaya, speaking on imposter syndrome in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. For adventure, some of you did not hear my name. I'll say it again. The name is simply Sheyi or Oluwa Sheyi. in case you are curious. All right, so I'll be speaking on imposter syndrome. Please, before we do this, I want you to give a round of applause to Ayodeji and Ms. Dorcas. You may not really understand, but maybe I'll call one of you one of these. Just come and stand out here and look at hundreds of people. It's pretty difficult to do, okay? I'll start from where he stopped. He mentioned something very, very important. How many of us have looked at billboards before? There are some billboards that you see. You just see a picture of a lady. The lady will just stand there. There's not much on it, though. They're not writing like 100 pages of words. You just see the lady holding Maggie. That's all the lady is doing on the billboard. How many of us have seen things like that? And then sometimes you wonder, I know some of us are not aware that these things cost a lot. It actually costs a whole lot to do. Some of us begin to wonder, this is a waste of money now, 250K. Only for somebody to be holding Maggie like this. At least you write some words about it. Now, what they are doing for you is that they are attempting to build a brand. I'll come again. What they are doing is that they are attempting to build a brand. What do I mean by building a brand? You go, you come, you see somebody holding Maggie. You go, you come, you see somebody holding Maggie. Now, the next time you intend to go to the market and you want to buy Maggie, believe me or not, is that particular brand that you will buy. It's like magic. That's the way it works. It's psychology. Believe me or not, is that particular brand that you buy. It's not one brand like that you've not seen before that they just wrote Shishin. What they are doing is that they are creating a brand. They are creating a form of familiarity with you and I. That's what we do when we have a form of social media presence. You are allowing your potential customers to see you. So if one day you want to collaborate with Bill Gates, chances are that if you don't put yourself out there, he does not know you from anywhere. But chances are that there are some people that have seen you and then they can recommend you to Bill Gates. But if you don't put yourself out there, how will they know? There was a post I saw recently. I've not started my topic. There was a post I saw recently about someone, and then the quote said that when you have a product and you're not advertising, it's like you're winking to a girl in the dark. You know you are doing something, but nobody else is seeing it. Are you with me? You know you are winking. Sometimes you're even doing it with two eyes. You're winking like this. But no one is seeing you because you're in the dark. That's what you're doing when you're not when you're not branding yourself, when you're not putting yourself out there. So as much as possible, I want you to take that and then be consistent with it. It can be very difficult. Can I have my picture, please? Imposter syndrome. Before I start on imposter syndrome, this is not your first week at SQI. You've completed at least a level. Raise your hand. A level in SQI. Raise your hand. Beautiful. If you've ever applied for a job based on what you have learned from SQI College of ICT, raise your hand. You've applied for a job. You've applied. Now, about what I counted, about 20 people said at least they've completed level 2. But only like 2 people raised their hands that they've applied for a job. Why? If I may ask you, the rest of you that are currently in another level, just raise your hand and just speak. Why haven't you applied for a job? Why haven't you applied for a job? Anybody? You've done level 1, right? You've done level 1. Why haven't you applied for a job?
I think.
Just be honest. Feel free. Relax. Relax. All right.
I think I still need the time to concentrate on my level 2.
You still need some time to concentrate. Anybody else? Why haven't you applied for a job yet? Anybody? You've completed level 1 now. Why haven't you applied for a job?
Something like I want to master myself.
You want to master some of those things before you begin to apply. You want to master some of those things. Some of us feel like what we are doing is not good enough, right? So why should we apply for a job? Who is going to take somebody like me in? All of those things fall under what you call the imposter syndrome. I'll come again. All of those things, beautiful. Thank you very much, sir. All of those things come under what you call the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome. What's the definition? Let me see the definition I wrote here. My paper is tearing. So the definition says the feeling of inadequacy that persists despite evident success. So every single time you are feeling inadequate in yourself, it means you have contacted what they call imposter syndrome. And there's a cure for it, don't worry. It's not an incurable something. There's a cure for what you call the imposter syndrome. Now, there are 5 types, and because of my time, I'm not going to go through this. I'll just read it out. So you have the superhero. Now, these are people that overwork themselves to make up for how inadequate they feel. Director asked me to share this too. Let me just. So, the superhero are people that overwork themselves to make up for how inadequate they feel. They said my time is up, but just give me like 2 minutes more. I'll round up. 1 minute, 60 seconds. I'll be done. All right. So they overwork themselves to make up for how inadequate they feel. It means you have the imposter syndrome. Natural genius. You set exceedingly high goals, feel crushed when you don't meet them. So some of you want to build Facebook in a day. Even Mark did not build Facebook in a day. Why do you want to do that? The third one is expert. Never satisfied with their level of understanding, always trying to learn more. This is not a terrible thing, but it can be a terrible thing. I would have loved to explain more. Perfectionist. Never completely happy with their work. Fixated on flaws instead of strengths. And then you have the soloist. Prefer to work alone, won't ask for help for fear of appearing weak or incompetent. If you fall under any of these categories, it means you have the imposter syndrome. Now, what's the cure for it? I've said it is not a terminally, it's not the end. There's a cure for it. Right here, if you're going to write, I have just 4 points. Learn to appreciate the process. Learn to appreciate the process. Now, some of you feel like you're inadequate, right? Level 1, you just finished level 1, web development. But hear me out that you know how to write. Some people cannot initialize. Are you with me? They don't know what H1 is, but you do. So learn to appreciate that, okay, I already know this. Clap for yourself. Director will always say something. Anytime you get something right, you can sit down, go and take a bottle of Coke and just celebrate yourself. You can now come back to complete it. But learn to appreciate the process. Rome was not built in a day. Facebook was not built in a day. Twitter was not built in a day. You don't build it in a day either. The second point is this. Don't be afraid to fail. I said, no great person succeeded without failing. Great people are who have conquered the fear of failure and are determined to keep trying. Thomas Edison, very, very popular, right? They said he tried to build the light bulb about 99 times and failed, but still continued. I'm trying to imagine if he stopped or if he gave up. Maybe we'll not have light bulbs. Or maybe somebody else would have taken the glory for that. So never be afraid to fail. Everybody fails. Who has not failed once in the year? No one's. Everybody fails. All right. But the process of you becoming great and excellent at a particular thing is that you are willing to try again and not be scared of failure. That's how you move in life. 2 more points and we are done. Put yourself out there. Now, he has mentioned this during social media conversation. Put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, nobody is going to see you. And then the last one is this. Ask for help when you need it. Everyone is a learner. So even Mark Zuckerberg that you think is there, he's still learning 1 or 2 things, right? He's still picking up 1 or 2 things. Everyone is a learner. Never be afraid to ask for help whenever you need it. Thank you very much.
Alpha. Is the content loaded? The people around there, why are we continuously having problem now? Is the content loaded? Only one person is talking. Is the content loaded? Can we jam our hands to that? Wait. How about driving the attention of the audience? Was he able to get your attention? Was he able to maintain it? Was he deep in, did he take care of everybody? Did you feel left out from here? You were left out. That was deep. A prowess, a show of confidence. It's everything I want. It's deep. The way you even went, to elaborate what other speaker, acknowledge them, things like that. We like it, especially in our setting in Africa here. You now mount the podium, you want to speak, you just started speaking without observing protocol, stuff like that. Can we jam our hands together for my brother, Mr. Sheyi? God bless. All right. Janet, I reached out to you. I was unable to hear from you. Till next man talk, please. All right. We will progress like that. If you have seen the way it is, and it is a maiden edition, we will go home, go to the draw board, look at how we can even do it better again. So you can apply. The link, just like it was sent previously, will be sent again from today until the next Mind Talk. You can apply. Then we will have to streamline it to another 4 set of people who will speak in just 20 minutes. Do we get that? Should it continue? Should we continue this lightning talk or not? God bless you. Mr. Afolabi, can we jam our hands together for Mr. Afolabi? Mr. Afolabi will bring our guest of the day to the stage. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. So I just want to, like I said, bring up our guest. When I was asking him for a citation, something to read to you as profile, he gave me 3 points. So I mentioned those 3 points. Stop laughing. And he will clap as I mention each of those points. So the first one he gave me was the husband of 4. Clap now. Then he said the father of 21. And the third one, should I? Okay, so let me spare the third one. Well, welcome to June edition of Mind Talk again, and we're about to go into the actual reason why we are here, turning products into just all sorts of things. But he's the product manager at Idozia, and Idozia by SQICT Consultant. He is part of many communities that he has built. He has a lot of experiences in this particular field as a product manager. I believe you are ready to receive the ministry of our guest minister, and you will join me to welcome Mr. Jacob Daramola.
Hi everyone. Well, I was almost feeling nervous to speak to us. So we are talking about turning product into companies, and some of the key things you're going to be looking at is knowing what a feature is, a product, and what a company is. So let's go on. Some of the things I would like you to take note of by the end of my talk is you are able to know how to move from the point of just building projects and keeping it on your local host to even hosting, taking it from your portfolio to you saying you want to build a product that people can use. Next slide. We have feature, product, and company. Which of it do you have? Which of it do you have? And how do we get to where you want to go? Next slide. I want to ask you, of those 3 items, you will tell me if it's a feature, if it's a product, or it's a company. So the first thing I have there is messaging. Messaging, is it a feature on a product? Is it a product in itself? Is it a company? Yes, a feature. Okay. Now, there is no wrong answer. I tell you the truth. It's whatever thing you call it. Okay. Someone said it's a feature. Messaging is a feature. Okay. Messaging a feature. Any other counter response? All right. What does Slack do? How many of you know Slack? Slack. Yes, or Discord. Aha. What does Slack do? What does Discord do? Is it not messaging? Okay, Facebook Messenger. You're not responding. Facebook Messenger, you know. Okay, so you call Facebook Messenger a feature, right? Okay, good. Now, in the case of Slack in its entirety, Slack is also a messaging software, and it's a product on its own. So that's why I said, whatever thing you call it is what it is. Okay, what of food on demand? Yes, food on demand, is it a feature? Is it a product? Is it a company? Product, okay. So an example of food on demand, products. An example, Jumia Foods now. Which one? Uber Eats, am I right? Which other one do you have? There's one close by now, Ride Eats, am I right? Yes, okay. So directory, what of directory? Product, feature, company. Directory. Okay, directory is a listing, just a place where you keep records of, profiles of people, yeah, something like that. That's what it is, where you keep profiles of people for quick reach. Facebook is a directory. It started as a directory product, actually, but it became something very large and does quite a number of things. So what do you call that? Feature, product, company? Okay, it's a feature. Okay, right. Let's move on. Now, there's a problem moving from getting a product to becoming a company. And I wrote here, even if you have a product, it takes several years to build a company. Market change and shift happens. There is a gap between the time you move from product to the time you move from a company. Let's see what the gap looks like. So that's a product, and we have the picture of a company, and we have a gap there. Now, what is the gap? Thank you very much. What is the gap between the period? Yes, gap is what? Can you read that out to me? Can you read it out to me? The gap. Okay, go to market, the business model, and the execution. That's the gap. All right? So, the next slide. Now, when we begin to build, for example, for techies, when we begin to build, it has always been about the product. You think a superpower, you can write a lot of codes, you've been given a lot of projects. How many of you have built banking app projects? Banking app. All right, good. Quite a number of us, good. And you're already set to go and launch your own CarryWise, or you want to launch your own UBA bank or your own Wema Bank Alert. How many of you have felt like that? Are you telling me you don't dream? Come on, okay, good. So now, at the first stage, we begin to think it's just all about the product. All of the expenses, all of the energy, we spend it on building a product. We are looking for software engineers. We are looking for the front-end engineer, the product manager, the product designer, and a lot like that. But along the line, you begin to find that there is more to that. Next slide. You begin to see that a lot of your expenses will flip. Now, at the initial stage, you're going to be spending a lot of effort, a lot of money on development. And you're going to be missing out on every other part. But as you advance, you're going to see that you get, next slide, you're going to see that you get to the middle of the equilibrium. And at a point, the sales and marketing begins, okay, you're going to be trying to prove your market acceptance. I'm going to take you through the steps. You're going to be finding out that you need to move to ensuring that your product is accepted. Now, there's a difference between, for some of you that built fintech, solutions. Should I call it solution? It's not a solution yet. You have built fintech projects. Aha. The reason why you cannot move from there and ask people to come and use, remind me of your name, please. Michael Fintech. The reason why you cannot carry it and go and call your own Michael FinTech, for them to come and use the feature they can use on their bank apps, is because you have not gotten to the point of market acceptance. You are still in the place of development. You are good. You are a superpower. You can build very beautiful products. Even if they ask you to come and build, what's that? What's the product that was just sold for 25 billion naira? $25 billion. That's Twitter, am I right? 45. Yeah, something, a lot of money. So now, at the process, you are able to build Twitter. And I can assure you can build Twitter. Yes, there's not. The only time that there can be something in Twitter is when a lot of people begin to use your product. But you can build Twitter, you can clone Twitter. Now, so you are still very good with development, but your product is worth maybe 300 naira. Yes, it has not grown to become a very valuable company at this point. So you're going to be spending a lot of energy in market acceptance. The next slide now, you're going to be moving on to spending a lot on sales and marketing. When you have been able to prove that your market is acceptable, people can use the product that you have built, then you're going to be spending a lot of energy trying to get people to use your product. Now, if you see some product, an example is Apple. Okay, MTN Nigeria. Yes, MTN just launched MTN Momo. What's their latest product that they just launched? Anybody? I just said it now. Yes, the MTN Momo. And MTN is saying they are going to commit. MTN is an household name. MTN is nobody's baby. MTN said they are going to be spending about $12 million on advertisement. $12 million is 6 billion Nigerian naira. They're going to be spending that on advertising, pushing the market. So when people begin to use your product, you want more people to use. So there's going to be a lot of energy. You think you've been able to build something that is stable. Then you're going to be spending a lot of energy getting people to want to use your product and know about your product. So those are some of the journeys you're going to go through. So next slide. Now, when you are aware of this, what if you now thought like an architect and you decide to now plan for this upfront? And that will take us to what can make a product become a company. The roadmap from product becoming a company. Next slide. Okay, now, one of the things you're going to check first is you develop, you design, and architect. That's the gap between a product and a company. Development, design, and architecture. Now, when you are developing, you only need to develop your most valuable features. You don't need to develop the most beautiful thing. Now, in product design, we have had a talk on that before, long before. And in product design, there is a lot of stages. But in this case, when you are developing, you need to first of all find out your most validated feature, the most validated part of your product. When you are building, you don't build a company, you don't build a full-fledged product in one day. Now, there are different kinds of products. There are some products that are heavy on tech. An example of products that are heavy on tech are products that are making, services go paperless. For example, you are building, give me an example. An example is Facebook. I don't want to use Facebook. I don't want to use Facebook now. An example is eDossier. So now, eDossier helps you to manage all your processes in one place, and it helps you to allocate resources easily. Now, with eDossier, you can do almost all of the service that eDossier renders is tech-based, is heavy on tech. You don't really need the human part to move from one point of transaction to the other. Now, there are some solutions, there are some services that are how do I call it now? The spread of the service is heavy on tech and also heavy on the service delivery. For example, food on demand. Now, if you have a food on demand business or a food on demand product, you want more people to use your product, isn't it? Isn't it? Now, when people are ordering for food, it is not your app, it is not your solution unless you build robots that is going to cook the food. Am I right? There will be the part of humans, there will be the part of process, ensuring quality of the product you are going to be serving, the food you are going to be serving them. Am I right? So in that case, it is heavy on both tech and it is heavy on the service part, the offline service part. So you need to know the kind of product you are building. So you know the most validated piece of your product. So now, if you are going to be building a product, you know the most, the minutest part of the service you want to provide. Then later you can begin to build the FT parts. Now, I have some examples here. Okay, products take a lot of years to build. And that is why your idea should first of all settle what your vision is. Take care of your vision first. What are you setting out to solve? I would share a story of one of the, a product or a company that I was part of the building. I was a co-founder of that never flew or that never fly. I don't know the word to use, right? So it was a logistics company. I'm so interested in logistics, for a long time, even now. So if you have an idea to build logistics, let's talk. We can build that together. So basically, we built the product. I'm going to tell you the story. We built the product and the app. It was full. It was ready. I still have it on my email address, Delio. Now, okay, I'll tell you the story of Delio. Delio was an offshoot of a contest. My small team then participated at the Imagine Cup contest, Microsoft Imagine Cup. So Microsoft then, we were not aware that Microsoft was so biased with health solutions and gaming. Did I say this on camera? Yes, we think so. That they were, Microsoft Corporation, they were biased with solutions that are health tech and gaming then. So we built a service-based, a category that is not in that line. So what's the idea? The idea is just being able to crowd source the service of moving items from one point to the other. So after the Imagine Cup, we came, I think, third nationally, and they take the first person in Nigeria. So after the whole thing, I and one of the guys decided to build it into a product. And we have built everything. We have answered all the questions. In fact, I was an undergraduate in a university near us then. That's LAUTECH. And all of you know LAUTECH, right? So we wanted to pilot it. And what are we going to do? Now, some of the challenges we had then, when the idea came, was you want to write an exam. Some of the hardest things that we have had, hardest situations, scenarios that battered the idea was that, okay, you want to write an exam. And during our undergraduate days, I don't know if things have changed. You need to go with a paper slip. I don't know what they call it, course form. Yeah, that will show the courses that you have registered to take before you can take an exam. So it is possible that while you are preparing to leave the house, you forget your course form. And imagine you are coming from Turkey, your house is at Turkey as a student, and you have gotten to school before you realize that you dropped your photo card, your course form. How about if you can get a place where you can ask, who is coming from that area? Can you help me to pick this item and bring it? Instead of having to move from this point, go and come back. Now, there was a particular incident that happened in LAUTECH then. There was a certain student that died. I don't know if a lot of us had then, just for the sake of forgetting a lab coat. So the student was going back, and it was, I don't know, maybe it was going back or returning, that the student had an accident and died. So there is a risk in traveling a distance. There's also the case of students, you're in Lagos. Your parents stays in Lagos and you came to school here. And it was almost about the exam period, you have exhausted your food. Instead of spending 3,000 naira, as of that time, I don't know how much it costs to go to Lagos now. To go to Lagos and spend 3,000 naira, that's 6,000 naira. How about student go home every day? How about if you can find someone that stays around your area or can pick the item for you from Lagos and pay the person 2,000 instead of spending 6,000, and also saving the risk. So that was the idea. Is the idea very great? Yes, it is very great. Okay, so remind me that I asked if the idea is very great. So we got to a point that we built it, or we built it out, and we wanted to pilot just with a small environment, LAUTECH. And we got to a point, and the point is security. Security of you being able to tell someone to go and pick your items. There are marauders, there are the bad guys who will not have the finest intention to solve a problem for your app. They can go and pick it and not deliver. So how about you are sending a jewelry that is worth ₦1 million and they pick it up? Who bears the? And that was why the project did not fly. Everything was ready. So when you want to develop, now the concern was basically because we did not validate our our vision. We didn't validate our vision. Our vision was to help people move things from one point to the other. And there are ways we could have achieved that without essentially having to build. Now, the next thing, okay, so let's move to the next slide. Next slide now. So when you are developing foundations, you need to validate the features and the values first. Validate the value that your service wants to provide, that your product is going to provide, not just the feature. And let's see how we can do that. When you are developing value, you develop first. You develop less. What did I say? You develop less. You focus on your core. Partner, and you can partner for your own product. Now, there's something we call, I know someone will pick up this idea for a lightning talk. There's something we call, there's a language now in the technology industry, low code, no code. How many of us have had that? Low code, no code. Yes, okay, you have to know so that you can know what is pursuing you, designers and developers. You know, you can actually build an app now without having to write any line of code. Just draw a sketch and take it somewhere and feed it, and it will construct it for you. Definitely, it can't be as flexible as what you build out yourself anyway. So, now, even if you need to build, to start your company with WordPress, just know your core feature. When you know your core feature, start from the core feature, and you can begin to develop more features into it. So you don't focus on building a lot of features. What are you supposed to focus on? Focus on your core feature. And another thing is you can partner for building your product. Now, when I say partnership basically means that you're not building the whole thing yourself. And that takes us to developing faster. When you start something out, or when you share an idea, there is no problem with sharing an idea. The idea that is in your head, 1 billion persons have it. Now, let me tell you how beautiful our idea was. At that point, we saw that there was a challenge with delivery. The challenge is still existing. I want to share an idea with you now. The challenge is the biggest challenge in the business of e-commerce in Nigeria, and that is the business of delivery, moving, goods that are ordered to the destination quickly. If you order on Jumia in Ogbomoso today, it takes how many days to get to you? At least 3 days. Am I right? 5 days. Yes, and Jumia wishes that how beautiful will it be for you to order something. You are so excited, and you decide to order something, and you can get it that day or the next day. Will you not use that that product more than what will take 5 days? Am I right? For me, when I buy any item, I wear it immediately. There are a lot of times that when I went to a shop to pick up an item, I wear that thing out of that shop. That's how excited. When I want to buy something, I don't go out a lot to go and look for those things. But once the thing strikes me and I pick it up, I just want to have an experience of it. So there's that challenge. We saw it at that point, but we did not focus on our core feature of moving items. So we began to develop a lot. We spent, though we were apart. I was in Ogbomoso, he was in Ede. And he was building I was doing my part here too. I think we built the whole thing in maybe 4 months or 3 months. Very great. But we could have started at a point. Now, the reason why we had to abandon it is because we were worked out. We felt like we have invested so much. And we got to a point that we got stuck and we could not. So, you need to develop. Okay, so I was talking about developing faster. So, at the point when you share an idea, remember that 1 million persons have the idea that is in your head. Once you're able to voice your idea, or people are aware that you're building something, you need to step up your game. You need to build faster. Because the idea that you have shared, some people can build on it and also expand it and get, some people can get the original idea even from you while you are sharing it. Yes, so you've got to develop faster. In fact, while you are building, you begin to see that people are building exactly. That's when you now begin to see, when you are researching, you begin to see people are building exactly what you are building. So you don't need to spend a lot of time trying to build a lot of feature. Another thing you need to do is develop cheaper. Develop cheaper. Yes, when you are developing cheaper, most companies across, outside Nigeria, now, one of the things they are trying to do is develop cheaper. They come to shop here. When they pay the average developer maybe $6,000 to $7,000 a month, they want to come and pay $2,500, $3,000 to our developers here, and ask them to actually work remotely. So, in this kind of case, when you are building you don't have a lot of money. At that point, you might not even have been able to secure an investment. You might not have been able to secure a bet on your idea. So you need to ensure that you are developing cheap. Look for, already built services, APIs that you can. Another thing is develop smarter. Yes, you need to develop smarter. You need to co-create. When we say developing smarter, don't try. I found out about Drupal. How many of us know Drupal? Drupal is one of the heaviest and the most efficient. Drupal is made open source, and a lot of features were built into it. Okay, let me give you an example. Python.org. Python.org, single thing you want to do in Python, there's almost a library built for it. So you are able to quickly develop faster with such. So you need to learn to co-create, offer incentive. It may necessarily not be part of your company. Is that right? But you may organize contests. Okay, for example, now, there is this thing Wema Bank does a lot. They call it Alcoholics. Alcoholics happen every year. Who has participated in Alcoholics before? Okay, none of us. Okay, maybe this year. If they have not had that of this year. But if Alcoholics come around and they ask you to, they give you, I can't remember the millions that they share now, but they give you a solution. So you need to ensure that when you are developing your value, you develop less, develop your core feature. Be certain about what your vision is, the key thing you want to solve. Develop faster, develop cheaper, and develop smarter. Let me give the example of Facebook. I told you Facebook is actually started out as a directory. Okay, let me take Twitter. Twitter is more popular now. I think it's the older people that uses Facebook now. Am I right? Yes. The older people uses Facebook. I don't know why Facebook is appealing to older people these days. Right. So for Twitter is just started as a micro blogging site. In fact, Twitter started more as a messaging app before it became a public messaging app before it became more of a micro blogging site, before they now added a lot of feature. Now, I do not exactly know. Let me go back to Facebook. Now, when Facebook was going to be built, there was something in mind. And what was in mind was being able to connect college students on Mark Zuckerberg's, campus then. Just connecting. I think it was developed as a yearbook. Please correct me. You can assist me if I'm missing the story. Yes, like a picture matching within the school. And that was the core thing. And along the line, Facebook is over 17 years or 18 years now. And Facebook has developed into the bully brother. Yes, that picks up almost anything that is coming up. All right? So when we talk of, yes, co-creating value. Yes, when we talk of co-creating value, when you are building, you need to build on yourself. Everybody say build on yourself. Yes. When you are building on yourself, it means you are eating your own cooking. You are becoming your own customer. So let's take an example. One of the value of community is this. Now, when you are building a product, you need to even use the product yourself. Yes. For example, let me take an example. Okay. Yes. I want to remind us, we have an in-house product. We call it the SQI Forum. How many of you have heard of the SQI Forum? SQI Forum. Wow, a generation has passed. A generation has passed through SQI. Wow, that's beautiful. Not anybody is aware of SQI Forum. I know there's at least one of the persons who built it here. Okay, good. Good. Everybody couldn't have left. All right. Good. Good. Yes, I have some of the persons who contributed to the project here. Now, the SQI Forum, when it was built, though we kind of abandoned it, for what purpose? The purpose is we did not push it so well. And I'd like us to push it more now. So SQI Forum is built to become something like a Stack Overflow. And when SQI Forum is being built, we built the minimum core of the product. And that is to help people exchange message. The core is messaging. Such that when you are at home, you're having a challenge. We are all in our Facebook, our WhatsApp groups, am I right? Do we post challenges when we have challenges? No. Before, we used to do that, but in this crop of students that we have, I don't think we use it for that kind of conversation. No, it's too silent, yeah. So now, SQI Forum was built for you to be able to use it as a Stack Overflow. We want to build a Stack Overflow so that when you encounter a challenge, someone can come and respond to you such that anybody who comes later in the future, they can always search for a problem and it's going to show it just within the small community. Now, when we built that, one of the things that we decided that we did not do then was we did not eat our own cooking. Well, we did not build it to become a company anyway, but then the first thing you do is you eat your own cooking. What you have built out, you don't know, maybe after you have built your Michael Bank, you want to transfer money. You have been transferring money from one account to the other on your local host. And the time you deployed it, you don't know if half of it will just get lost in the air. Well, money cannot get lost in the air. Am I right? Yeah, I think I'm right. Your money cannot get lost in the air. So that if elderly people are listening, they will not be afraid to use, our apps that we build. So you need to hit your own cooking. You are not testing now. You are using it as a consumer. You want to see how it works. And in a community, you enjoy the benefit of eating your cooking. You can tell your friends, hey, I built this product. Can you test it out? Can you test it out for me? When 10 persons in the entire place here, if you speak to everybody, we give you a chance to come and talk about what you have built. If 10 persons are using it, you're already becoming valuable. Is that right? You don't essentially need to charge first. You can call it your beta release, and people should come and test for you. Is that right? When you begin to handle 10 processes at a time, and your product is not breaking, you already are becoming valuable. If you're able to get 100 persons to use it, you're already becoming valuable. And actually, you don't build a company until you begin to generate money. Or you begin to generate the value for which you have built it. The return value for which you have built it. Yes, I've talked about that. Then, be open and extensible. Yes, be open and extensible. So when we talk of being open and extensible, when you are building your small product, you should be able to leverage other items. Build it in such a way that you can easily integrate other APIs, other products, or other features on your product. For example, now you want to build, you are building SQI Forum. Let me use SQI Forum as an example. Now, the basic thing you could do, I would love us, Mr. Joshua, maybe one time you are going to come and show us what SQI Forum can do, maybe in subsequent Mind Talk. Now, what SQI Forum can do as of the last time, I don't know if they are built. Hey, Sarah, is Sarah here? Okay, good. Yeah, she's also part of the developer. All right, so they were saying they want to build the version 2. I've forgotten what they want to build in the version 2. Now, at that point when they are building the version 1, if after eating their product, they saw that, okay, it is stable with 10 persons, but when 100 persons are using it, 100 SQI students are trying to use it, they are online and they are working on SQI Forum, they are using SQI Forum, it's breaking, or there are some challenges. They may need to focus on making it stable. And the version 2, the other idea that they want to build on it, the other feature, they can build it in such a way that their primary feature can consume other feature to be able to integrate other features. So they can take care of that while they make their primary feature stable. Remember, you need to build faster. You are building your core feature, you need to build it very fast. So if you spend a lot of time building new features, you are creating more problem when you have not been certain that your core feature is stable yet, is delivering value. So you need to be modular. You need to be able to build modular services. Then you can use open source. This is optional. Okay, yes. And while you are building too, you can make your customer your product manager. Yes. Making your customer your product manager simply means that you are hearing directly from your customer. You are getting feedback. You are working with them side by side to improve the delivery of your core value. The next thing is value. All right? Before you build a feature, let alone a product, you need to know what problem you are solving. You need to know how significant it is. Yes. When you are going to building, to developing, you need to be certain about what problem you are solving. Someone should be able to ask you on the instant that what problem exactly is your product solving, and you're able to respond to that, and you're able to say the magnitude of the problem. So prior to building your MVP, that's your most valuable product, you need to check, recheck, and triple check for your value proposition. And I wrote here, if you are not solving a valuable problem, I made it louder. You are not solving a valuable problem. That's louder. And the third thing is that, unsurprisingly, you won't be surprised that you are not building any value, because you are not able to, substantiate the value that your product is. So if an idea is viable, it does not exactly mean that it is valuable. Viability means that something is doable. Is that all right? You think in your head, is it possible for me to get product from this point to that point? It is definitely possible. If you have been able to settle that is possible, that's viability. Now, is it able to solve a problem? Is it able to ease a pain? So, and that takes us to qualitative validation of your product. So, for example, now, look at this image. This image is talking about vitamin versus penicillin. I'm not a medical person. I saw this image, so I picked it up. Now, so we can see that for a potential market, they needed what vitamin can do and what penicillin can do. I don't know what they can do at this point. All right? So, before, when they were using vitamins, they used to feel acute pain. They still feel acute pain. But at a time when they moved to a particular product, you are able to measure that there is a movement from pain to another satisfaction, to a satisfaction which is absolute joy. So let's move to the next place. Now, when we check the pain and gain validation, you need to be able to check the pain and gain validation. When you are saying your product is valuable, you must be able to quantify, to say that, okay, this is the existent pain. The pain is that, okay, there are a lot of techies around where I am, maybe in the talent city that some people are trying to build now. It is being built for techies. So, and it looks like a lot of techies don't cook a lot of times. Am I right? It looks like that. I don't exactly know. Okay, but techies, they don't cook a lot of times. They are lazy to cook. So now, the pain could be that, okay, they need to get food. They don't need to be lean or suffer their health. Now, that is a pain. Now, you need to be able to measure that, okay, if you do this, after you've been able to do this, you have developed a particular feature. You have developed a particular product. You are able to measure that this is how it is exactly going to solve their problem. At that point, then you can, now hold on. Now, anytime the pain is, the gain. Anytime the pain is, how do I call it now? Lower, the pain is higher than the gain. Good. Sorry, I'm trying to interpret this, yes. When the pain is higher than the gain, you can be certain that you have not been able to prove a value. Is that right? Let's move. So, then we go to designing to fit the market. Yes. Now, before we used to have go to market. But now we now have go to market fit, the product go to market fit. Now, there is an intersection between your product and your market. What's your market? Your market is your potential customers. Am I right? Yeah, your potential catchment, the demographic that you are building for. Now, the intersection between product and market is the fit. You need to be able to understand if your design fits your market. So let's move. All right. So when you are designing your product market fit or product go-to-market fit, you need to ensure that you are able to narrow your target. What did I say? You narrow your target. Don't look for something so big. When I was telling you about some of the products, a particular product that I built then, when we were going to pilot it, we got that right. We are going to pilot in Lautech. Yes, we understand that a lot of students want to pick up something from Lagos and they don't have to, they don't want to travel, either for the sake of the stress of travel, the risk, or the money. We have been able to identify a smaller area and we have been able to ask a lot of questions. So you need to narrow your target first of all, and after narrowing your target, you can segment your target by the need. Now, you need to be able to, when you narrow your target too, you can also still segment your target. So, for example, there are persons, part of your target, there are persons who enjoy what? Who enjoy traveling, or who always have to travel. There are students who do that. Now, that is, you are segmenting. You need to be able to give them value. In such case, what are you doing? You're going to be able to get them to make more money. If you can remember the idea is, okay, I didn't share the entirety of the idea. The idea of the product then, the Delio app, was that, okay, you are trying to move goods from one point to the other. Okay, I told you that some of the biggest idea that we have is that we are going to be able to go to Jumia.com. We're going to be able to go to Konga. They had the challenge so much and they are not making a lot of sales. And that was even before they had the Jumia movement or something like that, before they had their delivery. They used to outsource their pickup then. So we were hoping that we are going to get in. Now, in such case, you need to segment your market and know persons who have the pain of having to pick products and know people who want to make money. So for example now, in the case when we are piloting in school, students want to make more money. Now, For example, so the idea is this: when you want to move an item, I forgot maybe my ID card somewhere, and you are coming from the point. I go to a particular feed, and I drop it there. Hi, can someone pick this up for me? And when someone selects that they can, it's going to take you to a private messaging area. That is where you can now negotiate and say that, okay, I'll pick it up for you. How much are you going to charge? Okay, I'll charge 100 naira. And you process it through us, and we take a percentage of it. That's what the idea is all about. So now you need to know, at that point, when you are segmenting your market, you need to know those who wants to make money, more money, and you need to be able to design clearly for them a market fit. When you are designing clearly for them, you need to ensure that it is easier for them to receive their funds. You are designing to ensure that it is easier for them to be able to be validated. Yes. So I don't want to talk about some of the security measures we came up with. Well, I'm wiser now. Okay, there are a lot of errors I've made before. So before, I used to think the most valuable persons are just the developers, the people who build, the designers. But when I transitioned, I began to understand that after you have built your product, in Yoruba, do you understand? So Michael has built a very great product, but the question is, so you could have built a lot of beautiful projects that on your local host. You need to learn how to move it too. Then the next thing is, you focus your product. Now, when you do your product go to market fit, it is vital, it is essential for you to position yourself when you are, rolling out your product. It is necessary for you to communicate the message. This is when you are talking about, you are communicating the value of your message. You are doing the marketing. Do you understand? So, for example, if you are going to, I'm trying to look for popular companies and their trademark, or what do they call it? Give me a popular company now and let's find it. Apple. What does Apple do? What's their line? What's their tagline? What's Apple's tagline? We use iPhones, I don't use any, so no problem for me. All right, eh? No, they have. There's no big company that does not have. Oh my God. Can someone find it out for me? All right, good. Yes, let's use SQI for an example. Now, SQI, we say what? Making Africa a tech continent, one mind at a time. That's our vision. So when we are communicating it, we are not going to be communicating, teaching you how to become a software developer. When we are putting out our messaging, no. Our messaging is, we want to make Africa become a pool of tech talents, that companies. So we are appealing to recruiters, we are appealing to donors, to a kind of cause that we are into. We are appealing to individuals, we are appealing to the government. That is our message. So once you've been able to design, to understand your product market fit, when you are designing your messaging to your potential customers, it tells you it is vital for developing that. Then communication. And it helps your packaging and pricing too. So when you've been able to know, okay, I'm targeting students. When we are piloting, we believe that the maximum things that we expect students to be able to move are things that they may be able to move with 100 naira. So it won't be right for us to now be building a feature of insurance, product insurance, at that stage. So if you want to be, if we are, catering for a large market, now we might be looking at people who want to move jewelry, who want to move vital documents that might cost millions of dollars. Am I right? So at such case, when you've been able to understand the segment you are catering for, you will not spend a lot of money on packaging and the pricing. So I don't expect a student there are not many students that can pay 5,000 naira for my service. Basically, we are not setting the price anyway. We are not setting the price. The price is set between the person who wants to move an item and the person who will fulfill the order. So you designing your product go-to-market fit allows you to understand the packaging and the pricing. Then you're able to understand your channel of distribution, the kind of partners you are going to look for, you're going to align with when you're building. Then let's move to the next thing. Let's move to the next one. Okay, good. Now the roadmap between your execution, your feature, your vision and your execution. The roadmap between your idea and your execution is this, and I'll quickly talk about it. You start from your vision. Yes. Now, when you begin from your vision informs you understanding the core value that you are building. Am I right? I said that earlier. The core value, you validate your core value. The core value, the core feature you want to build, your vision takes care of that. So, and that will be talking about usability. We'll be talking about the usability. How is it being used? How can it be used? Your product. How is your feature going to be used? Then you, at that point, you move to developing a product. Now, feature metamorphose into product. Yes, when you are getting your team right, you've been able to take care of some of the things we have discussed earlier. You're already having a product. Now, when we talked about messaging, we called it a feature. Now, messaging can graduate to becoming a product. When the SQI forum, for example, it was built as a feature on edu.sqi.ng. Now, we just want people to be able to communicate, exchange solutions, have a conversation on solution. Now, that is the core value we want to provide. At some point, when we are developing it, we may understand that, okay, we need to put some restrictions. We need to block some keywords. We need to build some restrictions around it as features. Those are secondary features. So in the case of this part, we've been able to build what people can log on to so address at, and they are able to use. That's usability feature. Then when it metamorphoses into products now, it is already having a form. It is having a set structure. You are recruiting a team. You know who is doing what. You're already talking about testing your market value, testing who your market is. Then at that point, you are looking at partners, you are looking at the service, and your own product at that point. Now, you begin to build your team. You've already built your team at the place of solution. Then you begin to talk about customers. Yeah, you are needing customers who wants to use. I told you that before your product becomes a company, it is when you are beginning to earn. If you have not earned anything, you are not a company yet. So when you get your first dollars or you get your first naira, that's when you begin to think in the line of a company. Now, so at the point you are having customers, you are having references, people are able to refer your product and say, okay, I've used this before, you can also try it, it's possible to use. I will show you how customers buy your product after this. What leads to introduction of your product and buying? The movement. Okay, the next thing is the market. Yes, we begin to now talk of your market segmentation. Okay, you are catering for this class of people, you're able to cater for this class of people. You begin to understand. Let's move to the company. Yes, when you become a company, you are talking of having a product line already. So you are able to repeat your idea. You have gotten to repeatability. You've been able to build a feature that if you are to repeat, for example, if you are into, let's get away from tech now. Let's say you make tablets or you make phones. You've been able to roll out some parts that you have been able to use to test the market. Now, you have gotten it right and you're able to easily reproduce. Do you understand? So your product becomes repeatable. And that's when we are talking about product line. It becomes scalable. Yes, you can say you have a smaller feature. Your messaging app can take anything in. But at some point, you feel that children will you have a market segment which are children, and you want to take care of that. So you want to scale your app and ensure that when people are coming to use your product, they can choose an option for children. And at that point, you have built maybe an AI system that can block some certain keywords that is used. Do you understand? For the sake of taking care of children. So that's talking of scalability and profitability. You're starting making money. Next slide. Now, we're talking of architecting. Now, when you're architecting to attract. So, and in this case, there are a lot of cases that I found when I was researching this, but there's the one we call slippery products. Now, so let's see what slippery products are. Let's move. Move. Okay, good. Now, these are slippery. Go back a bit before. Okay, good. Let's move. Now, so when we go to the slippery products, now, a slippery product is a product that is simple. When we say something is slippery, what does it mean? Smooth. Am I right? Yes. So you are getting your idea to the point that it becomes a slippery product. So it is so simple. It's simple. Yes, it's simple to explain. It's simple to talk about. It's simple in its form. Then you go to low to no initial cost. And that's when we are talking of you developing cheap. Is that right? So you can say you're having a product when you are developing cheap. Even if there is no money in the company, there is zero money in the company, it's still your development team can repeat that product. Is that right? So then, for example, in the software industry, they can easily get started. They can install your product easily. Or even if it is hardware, it's a product that they can pick up and start using. Then it proves value quickly. Yes. When you are building any feature that you want to convert into a product, you must ensure that quickly they are able to find the value in the product quickly so that they will not drop your product. Is someone listening to what I'm saying? Yes. So you need to put this in mind. You need to have gotten your feature to the level that it becomes slippery. Your product becomes slippery. It proves value quickly. What am I trying to do? I want to be able to perform a transaction from one point or get from one point to the other. Immediately I install it or I start using it, I'm able to see that happen. I'm not spending a lot of time having to find my way around. Then it also plays well with others. Yes. What does playing well with others mean? It is not, how do I call it now? It's not indirect. It is not parallel to others. Now, when we are talking of building a feature into a product, now we are talking of what can communicate easily. For example, you build a product that generates data, and I cannot export from your product to places like Microsoft Excel, which is a more powerful tool for analysis. Is someone getting what I'm saying? So for example, now I built a product that gathers people data, and maybe in the company there is an analyst and they pick up my product. And the analyst wants to, maybe while I'm building, of course, such kind of products at the end of the day, I'm still going to build an analytics tool. Is that right? Into it, or a reporting tool. But at some point, when I'm just building the minimum viable product, I might not have been able to build the analytics into it. So it must be able to play well with other software. So create a chance for me to be able to export my data, and it can be used elsewhere for other purposes. Then it is easy to use, and the return on investment is obvious. Yes, return on investment does not always mean that you want to make money. It may just be that it is solving a pain. Yes, they want to free up space. They want to be able to allocate their resources well. They want to make life easier for their clients, or the person who is using it wants to make his life easier. So the person is easily able to see that there is a reward is getting from it. Then you can also make it that your customers can't live without it. And that is serious work. Yes. Yeah, so ensure that your customers can live without it. I can't say more than that for now. Make sure it is sticky. That's what it means in simple terms. They are able to use it frequently. So take me back. I'm going to end on this point. So I'll be ending on talking about the one in the circle. That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, I call it like the product to company life cycle. And what I call becoming a company here, I told you building a company takes time, definitely. And when we talk of building a company, I'd have loved that maybe we have a part 2 of this and we can bring people who are currently running companies to come and share with us based on some of these things. Okay, so now your customer find or they see your product. When your product becomes slippery, this is how your customers think. I told you that when you are building, you see from the lens of your potential client. What do? They discover your product. They discover it first. And they kind of try it. That's why they discover it on maybe Play Store after you have made a lot of noise on it. Or you have made a lot of impression. You have heard the Maggie app. Do you understand? Like Mr. Sheyi said, they have been seeing the Maggie app and they just decided to pick it up. You told them that the Maggie app, anytime they install it, once they forget to put salt in their food, once they start the app and they are listening to some tunes, it will be as if there is salt in that food, a saltless food. That's what you said your app can do. All right? So they find it, they try it. Let me just try it out. The next thing is, if they find it okay, it has become a slippery product, they buy. After buying, they want to implement, they want to install. When you make it easy for them, they go to deploy. They begin to use it in all of their processes. They begin to say that, okay, this is how I want to use it. They activate it, they configure it. And the next thing is they own it. Owning it means it becomes part of them. That if you take it away from them, you have already disrupted their lifestyle. So, moving quickly, the gap between, take me back to where the gap is. So the gap between, the gap between your product becoming a company is the 3 things. What are the 3 things? Developing, let's go. Let's go to those 3 places. The 3 places. No, forward. We are going forward. Going forward. No, go back. Yes. And so what are 3 things? You develop the foundations. That's you are developing your minimum viable product. Oh, okay. I didn't talk about this so well. Okay, yes. You develop the foundations, the validated features. You are developing your vision, your core vision. Don't build too large when you are starting. Don't build too large. Ensure that you are able to solve a pain point, the minimal pain point, before you now begin to build final features. Then the next thing is design a product to market, a product go-to-market fit. We are talking of your primary value proposition. You are clear on it. Your minimum viable product. You've been able to build the product out. Then minimum viable sector talks about you have been able to, you are certain of the segment of the market, the sector of the market that you want to take care of, and you've been able to achieve a minimum repeatable product. Then the final one is you are architecting your product to attract clients when you make your work slippery. Thank you for listening to me. The last slide. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, go back. So I used this reference when I was preparing my slide. Yes. So I follow Michael J. Scott a lot. He's a venture capitalist, people who invest in companies. All right. Then thank you, and any question?
Thank you very kindly. I really want to appreciate you, sir. Some people might be like, Kini Gun. This thing is very long.
Wow.
I tell you, if you are somebody like me, Thank you. Thank you, sir. You can Google it. You can just say product management. You will see that it will be bringing to you degree courses in product and project management. What my colleague is trying to shuffle into just 15 minutes of presentation is what will take you more than 4 years to grab. Do we get that? Do we really get that? So a round of applause for a job well done again. I do not know about very many people, but sitting down here at a point in time, I did like this. Because I was drenching already in the pool of so many informations that he is passing across. Sir, I will request that you will please be magnanimous enough to release unto us your slide so that we can peruse it again. There are just so many things within it. I cannot emphasize it enough. Now it is 12, and I have not taken time to acknowledge our people from other branches and people that are joining us across the globe. We salute you. Shout out to people from Dugbe Ibadan. Shout out to people from Iwo Road branch. Iwo Road campus. And our friends and family across the whole globe. Can we jam our hands together for them? All right. Any question, please? Because of the nature of how our time is well spent already and fast spent. This is number one. Number two, I don't want the situation whereby question will be betting question. Who again? Ladies. All right, please come. Be ready too, sir.
Are we in afternoon already?
Afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is going to be very quick. I thank you very much, Mr. Jacob, for all that you have compressed for us. I saw a video on social media very recently. It was about this Lions Dance program. And then there was a particular guy that they were criticizing. So they said, this is our product. It was a lovely idea. And then they began to ask, what's your business model? Do you have used that journey? What's your MVP? Have you built your MVP? How long did it take you to build your MVP? Nothing about those things. So thank you very much for filling us up on that. My question is this. Now, for a tech product, a software as a product, right? Obviously, one person cannot do all of these things. So who are the people that, you need to hire, okay? What are like the teams that you need to hire to ensure that your product is not just a software, it becomes a company. So who are like the set of things that you need? Thank you very much, sir.
All right, please come around, sir. Let's clap, celebrate people.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Jacob. The question I want to ask, for persons that want to build a company that actually don't have a product but want to help other organizations to build products, how do they go about it since they don't have a starting product to work with? So how do someone go about it? Like just help other organizations to build build software that will help them solve a particular issues in their organizations. Thanks, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I would start from the second question. So I have a friend here. He's not here, okay. And he has had some challenges, working with some companies who are just starting out. Oh my God. Okay, and there was a student here who said recently that he understood the value of product designers recently. Yeah, so talking about the second question, for people who want to build a solution for a company. Okay, yes. Now, yes, what is going to happen in that case? Okay, I think it looks like the other one. They are going to be outsourcing to the company. So the company owns all. They can outsource either marketing. They can outsource engineering, which is development. They can outsource every kind of part that they think is responsible, they need at any point. So if it is for development, then they need just a product development team, which includes the engineering, product guys, the testers and all of that. So I will think that I can link it with ease. So what you need to build a product or a company, a software company, it depends on how deep your pocket is, actually. Yeah, because deep pockets has brought about a lot of names that I began to learn. Then I used to pride myself that in this part of the world, in Nigeria, I'm one of the first persons who knew about what you call product management. I've known about product management as early as, well, if I say it now, someone will tell me that and look at you. I've known about product management so well from 2016. Anybody knew product management very well before that time? Don't tell me that, because I'm not going to take it from anybody. All right. So I've met quite a number of persons that, it is just recently they're beginning to hear there's something called product management. Yeah, so now it's so large, and the key part is just that when you are developing, there's a software engineering team, and then that is actually being taught. When you are developing a product in design thinking, we talk about people who design a product out. In fact, everything I'll say, please go to my slide so I can pick out, go to my slide. So I can pick out some kind of persons you can need at different points. So go to the develop, where the gap is, all right? Yes, no, forward. Okay, go forward. Yes, good. Now, when you are developing, at the point of development, you are needing product designers, people who can design what your product will look like, who can design the experience, who can iterate what the experience will look like. You need engineers, software engineers, people who can build. You need product managers, people who own, how the product will go and ensure it does very well. On a product development team, we also have UX researchers. What other roles? Sorry, I could not remember so many now. Testers. You need DevOps guys, all of those ones. Now, when you are building, because we are telling you that you should spend less, the minimum you are going to be needing, you're going to be needing people who can design for you, test the experience for you, build for you, actually. People can actually, because before, I used to think people who work with diodes, work with just codes alone are the key persons. That's for the development part. It goes beyond that. Now, when you are talking of developing hardwares, you are talking of the electrical engineers and all of those ones, people who actually build the product. When you are talking of designing the product go-to market fit, you are talking of the business developers, you are talking of the growth hackers, you are talking of the sales and marketing persons and all of that. So, building a company is actually, a serious team. Yes, it's serious. And that is why you hear that there are, and I talk about how deep your pocket is. Okay, then, the business, the architect to attract to, you are talking of your growth hackers, your product owners, and all of that there. I don't know if I did justice to that or I'm just rambling. Yes, I think I did justice to that. Yeah, thank you.
Don't go, sir. Cameraman, snap us now. Once in a lifetime. Will you see this kind of a day again? All right, as they are trying to do that.
I needed to say something before I leave.
All right, say it, sir.
Okay, so when the person was introducing me, I hoped he was going to say that I'm fond of calling a name Mojisola. Who bears Mojisola here? Who bears Mojisola here? All right. Okay, if you have Mojisola, how are you? Okay, that's beautiful. So I love to always hear Mojisola when I'm talking. Thank you.
All right, I am mindful of the fact that some people are still going back to class today, be it just one class. And I am mindful of the fact that some people are joining us from remote places before we just personalize the event. Mr. Jacob out of his busy schedule. Among us here, we have a product design department here at SQI, and we have product development, HAMS too. All of us learning software development, you are into data science, you are building products. You get what I'm saying now? If you have ever been to my class, can I see your hands in the air? Whatever you have learned in our department before, you are people I can call the builders. Do you get that? Mr. Faith, this small but mighty man over there, that man, if you have been a student too, can I see your hands in the air? All right, great. They are into designing. Do we get that? From Ibadan, people in Mr. Timmy's class, you are in designing. People in Mr. Teslim class, you are in development. Probably people do not know this thing. And instead, probably, I think we will have to relocate probably our home class here or bring yours downstairs. People think that we are people that are standing, extremely apart from each other, whereas we are supposed to be collaborative, working hands in hands. And as a result, people here, they build cool things. But that's just the end of it. The best place where it can end is just on dribble. But how happy will you be if you just pass it down to us and we turn it into something? You'll be like, Kinetimo design. Is that the thing they are now using? Is that the thing they are now talking about at Mind Talk? Do you get that? Jennifer, Copper Jennifer. She's not around. I was just, WhatsApp status. I was just scrolling and I saw it and I said, She firstly said, this is the assignment. One slide. And I scrolled. This is the output when I did it. The next comment I just gave her? Send this thing to me. She sent picture. I said, no, send Figma file. In case you don't know, the next CSS class, you're in trouble already. Because henceforth, we are pragmatic, and that's how we'll be doing it. We will pick a project for you from the first level, and you will be working on it gradually. We've always been doing that, but we will be doing it henceforth now with the mindset that at the end of the day, be it you want to push it or not, you will know that you have a product. Do you get that? We have one brother. Agape is what we used to call him. What's the original name of that brother? Bro Sam. He's no longer in Nigeria now. So one day, a company came, they said, we need you, your question now, we need somebody who can build something for us from your organization, just 2 weeks. So when Agape got there and he came back, he was now telling us his experience now. He said when he got over there, that it wasn't him alone. They have gone to other notable So when he now came back home, and Oga was like, how were you able to pull that off? He said, Oga, Shebo can now assignment can modify. You don't know the weight of that. That by the time you go through all the rigorous processes at SQI, by the time you came back, people just come from this edge Otiseri, last assignment 3, come from this end Otiseri. Another lady, that lady, Mr. Favor, that was unable to finish level second. Marianne was just wandering on LinkedIn. And she just saw that post. She just, try it. And when she applied, and they gave her what to do, saying Tashi Nani, and she just finished it. They now told her, when they now call her for questioning or interview, or what do you call it now? They now say she is the number 76 or so person that has come, that they will say, go and do this, and they will run away. Lillian was just like, this is but just one of the few assignments that we will do just a few days after Angular now. That is how it is when people are expressive and people embrace, formation. Not the kind of people I will call class 8:30 by to 10 you are obsessed first. So please, I am begging. Let us cultivate that habit. Visit people here. What is new here? What can I build? You too, send it over. This is what we have designed. Whatever you can do with it. And the Almighty God bless us all. In the next 5 years, we'll be hearing your name in great places. All right, over to Mrs. Olawale Olubunmi. Please jam your hands together for information.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. I really want to commend us for the time that we've spent so far. You've really tried. And I want to also commend us that we are all looking beautiful. We are all looking beautiful, as a matter of fact. But some people are looking stunning. Say stunning. Yeah, people that looks like me. They put on something like me. We can all look stunning as well. So if you want to look stunning like me, you can go to the front desk and meet the front desk personnel to get something beautiful like this for you, so that you can put it on for the next My Talk edition, so we can all look stunning. So this morning, I want to pass some important information across to us. It is expedient that every student now go to their portal to register, both professional students and NID students. Registration is very, very compulsory now, because that is going to be used to process your certificates and your your certificates, even your transcript as well. So if you did not register, you won't be able to get your certificate. And if you did not get your certificate, SQI is not going to be responsible for the missing of results. So if you have not done so, kindly make sure you do it now. If you don't know how to go about it, you can go to the front desk personnel. They can give you a guide so that you can, do it. For those people that will be graduating, this will validate their certificates. Certificates will not be processed until you register. And the better quarter graduates, their certificates will be presented to them during the next My Talk. That's July 4th. So if you are among them, you can come with your best dress. You can come with your family and friends to take pictures together with you, as everybody will be celebrating you. So then the next thing on agenda is the ID card. If you don't have an ID card, please wave your hand. You don't have an out. So we have so many. Now, it is not compulsory that everybody has their ID card, because this ID card is going to be a ticket for you to enter the general hub. So if you don't have your ID card, you won't be able to stay back to work at the hub or to use the hub facility. So ID card is just the 1,000 naira. You can also get it done. Get a very nice passport of yours and give it to them together with your student ID. Submit to the front desk personnel. They process yours, and you will be a bona fide student of SQ High. You can use the hub. You can use the facility once you get that. So, but the rest announcement will be going straight to the NID students. NID students are currently writing their exams, and I want to wish them success in their exam. So they are writing their exam. They don't look like they are writing exams. They are just writing the exam with flex. So they are loaded. They are brilliant. So, but if you are a defaulter, you have not completed your payments, you are owing SQI, you may not be able to enter the hall. Please kindly pay up, as we would not like to embarrass anybody. The energy is so much on you, and we don't want to, we don't want to spoil that good vibes that are in you. So make sure you pay your school fees to avoid any embarrassment. Then immediately after your exam, there's going to be a CWES week where we're going to be giving you